Today I want to talk about Jibber, AI Jibber. Basically, quick talking, quick thinking with others, and what it means. What's it about? How's it going? Anyway, I want to talk first about Genesis 11 because Genesis 11 has a lot about this. Basically, in Genesis 11, it says that God destroyed the Tower of Babel. Now, I want to talk about the tower really quick. The tower was supposed to be being built up to heaven. Now, towers in my theology basically mean like bases of encryption. They're basically ancient order. It's not an actual physical tower as much as it is something else. And yes, it's still a physical property. It has to be ordered out of mass and energy, and you have to have order-based eyes in order to see them. You can't see them out of mass and energy, normal human eyes. It doesn't exist in that way. It exists with multiple eyes simultaneously. Now, it says in here that God destroyed the Tower of Babel, probably because it was too close to building up to an enemy's translation to heaven, right? Well, maybe not that. More so the moral and meaning behind it. I want to talk about the good things first about Jibber before I talk about the bad things. I really like gems and feelings and ideas and things like that. Like all these awesome feelings that you can have in the universe. Gems being one of them. Anyway, look up gems. You'll see that. I want to talk about Genesis 11. And I want to talk about the Tower of Babel. So let's talk about it. Jibber, communicating from one person to another extremely fast. Faster than human speak. You have that connection. Now, some people mistake that God destroyed the Tower of Babel because he wants to stand up for some kind of like anonymity, privacy, all kinds of different things. It was a Babylon-based tower. It was a Babylon invention. Babylon is an evil ruled place at this time. They were standing up for terrorism, which you can research. Babylon. What was God's demands? God's demands were release my people. They didn't have his people in slavery. They had his people in torture. They were wirelessly or spiritually torturing his people that were living in Babylon or living around, Israel around Babylon. Babylon is Iraq. So around Iraq, that's why we're kind of warring Iraq, is because there are people that are living in this spiritual dimension that are, famed to be multiple lifetimes old and immortal, that stand up for terrorism there, ever since the Bible has said such 2,000 plus years ago. Now, the Tower of Babel is translating all these different languages. Now, languages aren't just languages. Imagine being able to speak animal. Imagine being able to speak thought. Imagine being able to speak feelings and sounds and light. Human eye light. God forbid. I haven't seen anybody being able to speak sounds yet, long range or anything like that, like with will energies yet. But I have seen people that are able to do long range feelings already. And I have not seen people use long-range light. Now, I kind of take that back. I have seen Krishna do that. And, we're going to talk about we're talking about a whole different type of topic right now. A moment ago, we were talking about terrorists, where basically these are people that are like clawing up in the universe to try and get into the human domain. In relative to particle physics theory. Krishna is somebody that is so infinitely high up and advanced that it's not even close. Like, we're talking about the two opposite sectors of the universe to us. I've had a bio-augmented reality meeting with Krishna, and it was like real life. So he had, to me, sound, sense, and sight already extrapolated long-range order, ancient order. So, and Krishna is famed to be a lord. Krishna is famed to be a god. Um, yeah. So, let's talk about let's talk about Jibber. Basically, your intent has to be gibbered, and your lies have to be gibbered. Basically, once you get to gibber, it becomes, instead of are you lying? See how there's no like deadly or sinful virtue of a lie. All right, a lie and a truth are not sinful and heavenly virtues. They're not, because God and the Holy Spirit and even me, I don't think that way. If you want to lie, you can make the best concord out of a lie. You can use lies as a way to weave beauties into the world. Lies are not a sin. Discord is a sin. Discord is not only just a sin, it's a hellish virtue. Not only that, concord is a heavenly virtue. The opposite, pretty much the opposite of discord. You can either use concord or discord. It's binary. Now, if you are just doing nothing, you basically are at least allowing them to choose their moment, which is at bare minimum concord alone, right? You are at least allowing concord to be, to allow the perceiver to have their relative choice. But then discord is the complete opposite. Now, like I said, there is no, you can have a lie that's discord, or you can have a lie that's concord. You can have a truth that's discord, or you can have a truth that's concord. We do not revolve our choices in the Holy Spirit, in the holy world, around truth and false. We revolve it around concord and discord, because you are expected to know the gibber of what I was saying within the false that was concord, so then you can have concord. Then you know that I'm not lying, but instead you are witnessing a concord-based experience. Eventually, you're going to understand that Genesis 11 here, where it's talking about the Tower of Babel, that was the enemy's translation system, not ours. We are here to be able to translate each other's gibber and our intent, because our gibber and our intent is order. It's made out of sub-decimals, sub-audible decimals. Our gibber and our thoughts and our feelings are sub-audible decibels. Every event and collision in the universe is a decibel of some kind, no matter what. That is a scientific law, which means it is hearable relative to a sense of some kind. Now, maybe it's underneath your audible or your feelable senses ranges sometimes, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. You just need to decentralize your senses and aim them at the recent past waves, and you will be able to get that data. And I mean, is it going to be corrupt? You have to automatically sense the past. The only thing that is the present is your current manifest. And not to mention, your current manifest is also sensing past manifests, not just from you, but from others. And there's just no way around it. There's no working around this theology. It's a scientific fact. So for those of you that think that LIDAR or CDAR, basically I call it CDAR, in the angel community, me and Archangel Michael, we are big time pushing this thing called CDAR. C meaning E equals MC squared, C meaning light meaning every version of light, so we call it C-DAR. CDAR is all versions of light that ever could exist. Now, it's a blueprint, hypothetical, theoretical, infinitely being created, infinitely being destroyed, thing. You know what I mean? We're constantly adopting more and constantly finding more. Now, is it being destroyed within God? Is it being destroyed within the Holy Spirit? Maybe not. What I'm trying to say is that someday we're going to find a place where we go, dang, it's a shame that we can't decrypt all that past stuff, and then eventually we do. Eventually we gain it, and eventually we figured it out. But it was destroyed for a moment of period of time, so then we got to that point. CDAR is going to be the future. Because, LiDAR only goes so far. And yeah, LiDAR is light, but we're talking about literal physical light. Literal physical light ages to a point in which we can't decrypt it anymore, including our eyes. Our eyes can only decrypt certain aged light. After a certain point, it doesn't decrypt anymore, and we have to use things like LiDAR that tap into ancient light, which are custom light capturing devices. We don't have that. Our soul has that. Our Jibber has that. Especially our Jibber has that. And as you become more holy and more purified, you become able to have more and more and more of this CDAR and LiDAR Jibber installed right away. If you want to see something, you just immediately see it. And you're on the righteous path, because it's just one of those things. It's not a matter of is it lawful or unlawful. It's a matter of if it's righteous or non-righteous. And here's the thing is, it does come down to lawful or unlawful as well. I'm not trying to advocate being unlawful. What I'm trying to say is that the law allows you to break the law when it's righteous. All right? And it's not just righteous. You can't just make the word up righteous. Righteous means correct more. Meaning you're following the law more than breaking it. Yes, you broke a law because you killed somebody that broke into your house. You committed murder. But you legally committed murder. In certain states, in certain contexts. They had a gun, they were going to kill you. God will forgive you for that kind of stuff. Not only does God forgive you for that kind of stuff, He even commands it in the Bible, even for lesser crimes, such as like gay sin. And I'm not talking about gay sex, I'm talking about gay rape. People that are going out and finding innocent people and raping them with gay forces. That is in the Bible. People have done that in the Bible, and God has commanded them to death. For sexual immoralities, God has commanded them to death. Commanded them to be murdered. Now, He is not telling you to murder them, because you aren't probably not purified to the point in which you can even be capable of a murder. You might instead get yourself hurt by trying to murder somebody. But if somebody like Jesus or somebody like Moses kills, well, in the infinite multiverse, they can just surrender parts of their soul or parts of their vessel in certain plexes. Like, let's say you go to Satan's trial. Well, you're not actually at Satan's trial. You would just spiritually be there in a small little tiny place, and you're in this big giant place, and you're going to get away with it no matter what. All you did was adminship. You admined for the holy places, the more pure places, the places where what's going on here. Now we're talking about God is trying to purify earth. Now, God is not just trying to purify earth. He is purifying earth. We are purifying earth. We are killing demons and terrorists out, and we're trying to make sure that angels and holy in, right, and live. When people do terrible atrocities in highly more pure places like heaven, they get banished to earth. They don't get banished to hell. It's not a matter of that you did sin and you are now banished to hell. That's not the matter. The matter is you did sin. What sin is it? All right, you are now less pure, and you have to be going to this state of purification because you could not avoid that sin. So now you have to be purified through that purification process until we can verify that you're purified to go on to the next purified, position of the universe that's purified, where you will now continue to go from there on and so on and so forth as your divine progression develops. Anyway, I hope that helps a little bit on Genesis 11 and Jibber, purification. Hopefully you guys get a good grasp of what I'm trying to put out here. Anyway, love y'all. OMG Bomber out. Peace.